town you never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
Welcome back to Common Folk.
Comic Book Podcast.
That's right.
Here we are.
Right.
We've had a pretty good run of guests lately. Like, I would say, like, high-profile, intelligent, like, really intelligent guests.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
For sure. We've had, like it's coming to a thing where people are like, oh, I want to come out and tell my story. Because there's enough people listening.
Right. Well, and people are, like, interested. I've got it now where people are like, well, who are you going to get next then? If you got so-and-so, you should get, you should really hear from this person.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, we'll line them up. We don't have a booking agent yet, do we?
No, we should get one.
we really should.
It does kind of like snowball.
Right.
Yeah. Keep that going.
Yeah. Going to try and get one of Ashley's old class students.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
He's doing big things for the Bellevue Police Department. So
Cool.
kind of
Nice.
that would tie into some of the interviews we've been doing previously. And yeah,
Yeah.
like to hear from this guy. She said, this guy, he used to be a real pain in my ass. But I loved the kid. But he was one of those guys that had a personality. He's always kind of pushing the envelope, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to try and get a few more guests on, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But today, no guess.
No guest today. Just back to the common folk here, sitting, chatting about
Just us three.
whatever's going on. And there's something that Andy thought would be a good idea that might be kind of fun to go through. So what's up?
Well, there's all this talk of cancel culture, and we've kind of danced around it or talked on it, touched on it a couple of times. And there's some real big headlines right now. And Morgan, you brought up with Jason Aldean's
Yes.
Try That in a Small Town, that song that they tried to cancel and did initially. CMT, Country Music Television, just straight up dropped that music video, even though it was trending and it was going in the right direction. And then, of course, Sound of Freedom. I think a lot of
Yeah.
our listeners know what that movie is, know what that movie's about. But that was canceled before it even got off the cutting room floor. Like,
Right.
they were shutting that down years ago in Hollywood. And there's just a few really good, decent people out there that wanted to tell that story, that felt that story needed to be told. And like so many things, it finally does come to the light, regardless of how hard you try to cancel it or go underneath of it and undercut it or whatever. So, and there's also a little subculture of that where you're seeing, kind of humorous things being canceled,
Yeah.
and I thought it'd kind of be fun because I think that's a good way to go about things. Acknowledge that they're happening. But then to put it in its place, all these yahoos trying to cancel this, cancel that. Hey, you don't agree with me? You don't exist. Look down on it and just kind of laugh.
Right.
You know what I mean? Have some humor with it.
Yeah, for me, I think that the whole cancel culture thing, when I heard about it, it's been going on now for a few years. I thought it was like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard about. And I think that from a marketing perspective, you take two words that start with the same letter and they click, and then that sticks in people's minds. So you say cancel culture. And then also those words have, have meaning,
Right.
that resonate with people. So I feel like it's been blown up to something more than it actually is. So, like, as an example, I can't think of any particular brand or whatever, but the point is that someone goes, oh, well, we're going to cancel this one, whatever. What do you mean you're going to cancel them? Like, to me, cancel means, like, it's over. It's done. When in reality, it's, well, I just don't like and I don't support what these people are doing.
So they're going to try to cancel, but it's not actually
but there's a bunch of
cancel.
other people that do like and support
Right.
what these people are doing.
Right.
And this cancel culture BS of you think you have enough influence and power that just because you say this all of a sudden this thing isn't going to exist anymore.
Well, don't you think they're hoping that it's like a bandwagon thing, that someone starts it and everyone jumps on it?
Well, I think they're
Like
definitely hoping to create some kind of movement, and it goes both ways. I mean, you have the ones where, like you just mentioned a couple of a movie and whatever else there in the beginning. You have that.
Yeah.
You also have the other side of it. So like that's how it originated, and then it comes around to this other, where the other side goes, oh, okay, well, we're going to start canceling stuff. So screw Bud Light and screw Target and this kind of stuff. And so they're saying, "Oh, we're canceling them." You're not canceling anybody. You don't have that authority.
Right.
All you're doing is saying, "I'm just not going to
support it."
Yeah, I'm not going to put my money into that company anymore.
Well, the fundamental flaw with let's call it the hashtag cancel culture, right? And that did take off, and it trends from time to time. And that's really how it started. One of the first ones that I can remember is Donald Trump's daughter. She had a very successful line of clothing, and cancel culture got after her and basically sunk that company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's not what it was. You used to have a lot of women that were, on the Hollywood scene and that type of deal, or wanted to look like that were buying her clothing, buying her jewelry because it looked good, it was trendy, it was nice. And then when Trump declared to run for presidency, they attacked her company, and it did basically cancel that. So I think it's more than just a hashtag, but you made a great point where you're really running a risk. And here's the fundamental flaw with it, in my mind. You're drawing attention to something that you want to go away.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And now that you got a trending hashtag with it, you're making it even more difficult for yourself to cancel it.
Yeah, then you get a number one song. Come on.
So what I was talking about there was the word cancel. And how do you think you have that authority and so on and so forth? The other thing is culture, to me, is a very powerful word. So you think, so when someone says, oh, this is cancel culture, so that means that this is a whole group of people that all feel this, that have this culture, because culture is, if you think about culture, that's something that means that's a way that a group of people behave when they're all on the same page and working towards the same goals.
Right.
So you have this culture of you're just going to run around and start shutting places down.
And basically, and people have that function where they want to be part of a tribe, we'll call it, or be part of that culture.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of roped into it. It's like, all right, well, I follow that artist, and now they're being canceled, or I should cancel them. It puts folks in a really tough spot sometimes.
Yeah, am I a part of this thing or am I not? Because it's the culture. Do I want to be part of the culture? Blah, blah, blah. And it also makes me think on a broader scale of it's just this immediate go-to of I can shut down anything and everything I want to whenever I want to. And
this entitlement, would you say? Are you going towards that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's complete bullshit. You just because you don't agree with something,
you're offending me right now.
If you don't like it, then you don't like it. I mean,
right.
Move on. There's a lot of people that do. Unless it's and I think that's what a lot of these people probably think. Unless it is truly truly wrong. We got the mower going by the window right now. I don't know if anybody can hear that, but
that was loud.
That means the young man's doing work. You gotta like that.
The kid's out there mowing. Unless you can say, this is very, very wrong. This needs
to be canceled.
On
the minimum wage hasn't gone up for 50 years compared to inflation. This is wrong. We need to cancel that.
Yeah, things like that. I mean, but someone comes out with something and you're like, oh, I'm going to cancel this thing. No, get out of here. You just don't like it.
Well, would you go ahead?
Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
There's two sides of this coin. You got to be careful with it. I don't think people think that through.
Yeah.
So, oh boy, here's Jason Aldean's song, and it appears, and he's just running raw footage but he is attacking Antifa and what they're doing to some of these what used to be beautiful cities, Minneapolis, Portland, Oregon. And he's saying, try that in a small town. And he's just running videos of, people looting, people, bashing in cars and flipping cars, stuff like that. Okay, you want to cancel that because that's shining a light on your tribe in a negative way? Well, look out, because there's going to be a reaction to that. And his song went from doing okay to number one like that. Once it got out there that CMT was forced by cancel culture to pull that from their network.
When it created motivation.
It's not even that, it's not even that good of a song. It's a good song,
That is
but
so what Ben said.
When I first heard the song, I was
It's
like,
slow.
When I first heard the title, I was like, oh, this sounds awesome. This will resonate with us, blah, blah, blah. And I heard the song and I'm like, that's fine, whatever.
yeah.
And then everything started stirring up and I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Now I have to be a big fan of a song I don't even like.
Yeah. But the thing is what you're talking about with, these small towns and, what he's saying.
He's just saying it how it is.
Here's the thing. It's like
Totally.
everyone who lives in a smallish town understands there's a difference there. So someone comes in and starts looting and starts burning down the local business, starts flipping over cars, these kinds of things. Anybody that's driving by and seeing it in a small town knows whose business that is, knows whose car that is, knows probably even knows the people that are down there trying to flip the shit over. And they react
they won't
in one
stand
way
for
or
it.
another.
Yeah.
They have conversations. This isn't that hard to understand. Like
No.
you're not going to cancel this. Like this is how small towns and small groups of people operate.
But let me bring this perspective because Ben's gonna laugh. Okay, so we were at what is it? It was like we're trying to pass this bond. It would be like a few times for the school board.
Oh, okay.
We're at this meeting, and we're all sitting there in this room, and it's like plywood walls.
It's the bottom line is an old school building.
Old school building, old chairs. You look to the right, there's like people lined up, people are talking. There's like a sheriff with his badge on his, on his belt. And I literally just sat there for a second. I kind of started chuckling. I looked at him. I'm like, I felt like I'm in a movie. And he was like, what? And I'm like, no, really, like, this is not how I grew up, right? I grew up not in the country. But if you don't know, you don't know. Like, this is like what the movies have portrayed. Like, you're in a small town, you're in like this, I don't know what they call it, community hall, whatever. Like, that's not something I've done before years, like, I don't know. I mean, we've lived here for a long time now, but if you don't know, you don't know. But if you do, you do that. And so it made me think of like people that have never experienced small town stuff don't get it. They literally don't get it.
Nope.
If you take, as an example, if you take that story, and I don't know what your point is, but
well, I'm just saying, like,
you had like an out of body experience
I
almost.
had
You're like,
like
oh my God, I am from a small town.
Yes.
Now. I'm a small town person now.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been a small town person for a long time, but I guess I've never thought about it a ton compared to like growing up.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, there's the community center, and that's where we were. And then next to that is the bar, and next to that is the bank, and next to that is the co-op.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I mean,
that's all there is.
That's your small town starter kit right there.
Yeah,
Right.
and then the rest of it is houses. If we're down there doing that, and someone shows up and wants to riot and start flipping over everybody's farm trucks and burning down the community center, it just isn't going to fly.
No,
it just flat out isn't going to fly.
Right.
I mean, there's no other way around that.
So I go back to my hometown, right, Lynch, and it's very limited. It's very small, so there's not very many businesses there.
Right.
And I could only imagine, like, the coffee shop is a sacred place where all the old guys meet every morning, afternoon, and evening to figure out what's going on, and if some punks just showed up and tried to burn down the coffee shop,
It wouldn't work.
give me a break.
Yeah.
I mean, look out.
You know what it is? The more you talk about it, and the more I think about like my business experience and my my business training and the things that I've been through is ownership.
Yeah.
That's the bottom to me. Like if I think about everything that you guys just said and everything that we're seeing, that's the bottom line is ownership. Local people in small towns feel ownership for those buildings, for those businesses, for
Even though they don't own them, they may be renting them. Some of them.
But they're part of
not even that. I'm not talking about physical ownership.
Okay.
I'm talking about mental ownership.
Yes. Yeah.
In terms of I live here, this is a part of my community. I have no financial tie as far as like I don't own this thing.
Right.
I'm not the business that's running it. I don't supply them anything, that kind of thing. But I feel ownership because this is my town. This is how everything works, and we enjoy it. So if someone's going to attack it, they're attacking me.
Yes.
Yes. That's
Yep.
very true.
That's a great way. That's a great way to put it. And it's true. You do take ownership and you take pride. And I think people from Nebraska like accentuate it. Like it goes to levels, you know. And Michael Severe, one of our recent guests, made a great point when Nebraska football was at its best. It's because the entire state took ownership in it. Every town had a kid that was usually a walk-on that was part of the team, you know, either 10 years ago, now, 20 years ago, but every town had that same story where, oh, yeah, the Johnson kid, he walked on, he ended up being a 2-year starter, you know, but the university did such a good job of giving everybody ownership into that program. It was a leg up that no other program could really do. Or emulate, and Nebraska did a fantastic job of that. And then, you know, when new ownership, our new board of regents and presidents came in, they changed that all up. You know, well, you saw the effect of how good ownership can help you, and when you take that away, what could happen?
Yeah. Ownership is huge, and it's just a mentality. It's how do you develop ownership? But yeah, that explains the idea of these small towns where you're not going to come in and you're not going to wreck shop.
So that's why
because everyone that lives here is like, no, that's not okay.
Right.
Like so, even if the guy that owns that building is a guy that I got in a spat with down at the bar 2 weeks ago because he looked at my wife wrong or whatever. Like there's still this is my town. You're not doing this.
Yeah.
You know, where you get into like a lot of these big areas and there's no connection whatsoever.
No.
So then you're just like, well, I guess whatever.
So that's why I feel like that song's somewhat fine. Like it's fine.
Of course, it's a fine song. It's
like,
just fine.
Come on.
Yeah.
And they try to turn it into a racist thing, and most of that video showed white people wrecking places that were brought in on buses. So shut up with that. Like, how does supporting your hometown make you a racist? It doesn't. Shut up.
Right.
Yes.
Move
I mean,
on.
cancel that.
And I think what's awesome is that the majority of the country has proven that.
Yeah.
With that particular one.
So
because he went number one, I think.
Yeah.
Like very quick.
And as we said in the beginning, when I listened to the song, I'm like, it's okay.
Which is fun,
but
not funny, but I follow his wife. I think she's cute, and you know, like watching their kids, whatever, on social media. That's his first #1 hit.
Right.
I mean, so it really backfired.
It did. That's what I'm saying. You got it. Either side of the coin here.
I mean, he's been around for years.
And you're going to say, like, you can't really do that. Well, yes, you actually can, because the same type of deal came up with Bud Light, and they're down somewhere in the ranks of like $30 billion. That brand will never be the same. And that's amazing to just think of. Like, I have a tough time with numbers. When I think of $1 million and then you try to extrapolate that into $1 billion, that's hard to wrap your mind around.
$30 billion?
$30 billion, and I think it's more than that now. But just think if they would have just been able to stay on the trajectory, being the #1 brand for the last 50 years, and like they didn't even really have to lift a finger. They just were.
I think what the point I'm trying to make, and I can move on after this, is that it all started with a bunch of... Like, let's just be honest, it was more like left-leaning things that were getting pissed about right-leaning things.
Yeah, like Nat King Cole songs or something like that.
Yeah, like we're canceling you, whatever. And then
Uncle Ben's Rice, cancel that.
100%. There you
go.
go.
Jemima.
Yeah, and Jemima. Right, all these things. Like, that's getting canceled. Land O'Lakes butter. Oh, that's getting canceled.
But the Quaker guy stays progress. You ever see that meme? All the faces of companies that were black, Native American. They all got canceled, and then the only one standing is Uncle Quaker Oats.
Really?
Yeah.
Old white guy with gray hair. Progress.
There you go. Yeah. Sports teams, the Washington Redskins,
Yep,
and all this
yep,
kind of stuff. Okay, whatever. And then the other side goes, "Oh, you want to play that game? We'll play that game too." And then here comes Bud Light.
Right.
Yep.
Crash. Prior to it was, I just don't agree with what you're doing, and I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's all it has to be.
I'm not canceling you or whatever. You're just not going to be a part of my spend anymore. And it's not my culture to run around and shut businesses down.
Yeah, but thanks for roping me into that, or trying to.
Yeah, right. But you want to play? All right, let's play. And then this is what is happening.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion.
And it further divides, I would say, the country.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
and you made a great point about how we take ownership in our small towns, people from a small town or that move into a smaller community. And the exact opposite has happened and has been happening in bigger cities, where you just know, don't go there. Why would you go there? Why would you visit that part of town? I mean, there's even that stigma here in Nebraska with Omaha. Don't go to North Omaha. Don't go to South Omaha. That's why I really wanted to get Michael Severe and a couple guys like him, and Kalen, Dean, those youngsters that we had on too.
Yep, Caleb,
Yeah, Caleb, to tell their side of the story and make people understand that no, North Omaha is an okay place. It could be better. It could use work, but everywhere could. You know what I mean? But that division where it's a rumbling and there's some truth to it and all that other stuff, the crime rates are higher there, redlining's part of it, all that, it divides people even more so to where I'm from Omaha, but I don't take ownership of North Omaha. You know what I mean? Like all this crap, the hashtag cancel culture, all this, I feel it's set up to divide people. And that's what we need to fight against. And that's why I don't necessarily take joy, and I kind of do, but when I see like a Bud Light case happen, it's like, oh, damn it, but you tried to play the game, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
I don't like it that a beer that I drank for a long time, like I think twice about it now. I've been buying a lot more Coors Light lately.
Weird,
you know what I mean? Yeah, it gets weird. Like, I shouldn't have to deal with that when I just want to buy some cheap beer.
I know.
And it's
I
dumb.
saw somebody post holding it, and I was like, wow, why did they do that? Why are they holding
I've
that?
been to parties where like someone, like there's 10 coolers sitting around. Everyone brings their own cooler, and someone opens it up and pulls one out, and all of a sudden I'm like, ooh,
Buddy.
ooh,
Yeah.
hey. But it's not. But that's dumb. It's like
It is
that's
dumb.
what's just fed to you. But the other thing is what you touched on earlier is like this cancel culture BS. These people they do this with a thought in mind of, okay, we're going to shut all this thing down. And what they're finding on a lot of things is that it's actually building it up even more. So with something like Bud Light, it didn't. Of course, we're seeing that. With something like Target, it didn't quite do that either. Like that company's been affected. But if we look at something like
That movie.
the movie, is a perfect example.
Sound of
Like they're-
Freedom.
Yeah.
they're trying to shut that thing down, and that thing is kicking everybody's ass.
Let's see here. It had a budget of $14.5 million, and it's already grossed over $153
I mean,
million.
come on.
And
That is unbelievable.
That's what we're seeing is that people sit there and they hear that and they go, "Oh, okay, you're going to cancel this." Well, there's a pretty good idea that you're canceling it because there's things that you don't want me to see that
So now I'm
benefit
gonna.
you.
Now I need to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm going to make sure that
So
this
watch
works.
out. Yeah.
Yep.
And I heard a stat out on the way over here today. I listen to podcasts all the time, and they were talking about a poll that I think it was the New York Times did, and they were saying that Biden and Trump are dead even right now.
Oh, God.
Okay.
As far as their popularity. We don't need to talk about those two, but the point is that dude is on his third indictment. They are doing everything they can to shut this guy down, and all it is doing is building him steam. Like when are people going to realize you want to keep pushing, you want to keep fighting, all you're doing is building up.
Dude, comedian Chris Rock just had a fantastic tweet the other day. He's like, "You want to arrest Trump? you're going to make him bigger than ever. It'd be like arresting Tupac. Like his records went through the roof as soon as he got arrested.
And all it's doing is like Americans in general, we root for the underdog. Mm-hmm. We always have, because this country was created as a bunch of underdogs. Mm-hmm. It's in our DNA.
Yeah, I do it all the time with sports.
Yeah, we're a nation of immigrants.
Yeah. The cards were always stacked against us. Mm-hmm. So when you have someone who blatantly is having the cards stacked against them, people are like, oh no, there's a reason why you're doing that.
Yeah.
I know you're not telling me, but there's something bad going on here, so I'm just going to pump this one even more.
The timing's always been suspicious too. Like, man, it just doesn't jive.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
I don't understand what these super smart people don't get about trying to shut things like that down.
There's not enough empathy there. There's not enough self-awareness to actually think someone might disagree with me.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm right. I know my way is the way you should.
They're too, like, narcissists.
Yes, you should be thinking this way. And everyone that's worth anything or that owns an iPhone, that could own an iPhone, thinks like I do. Mm-hmm. And also, I think there's... when there used to only be 3 main networks, right? It used to be very easy to control the narrative, control people's what they were consuming, and basically what they could extrapolate what their thoughts would be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about podcasts. I listened to a Joe Rogan one a few days ago, and he was talking to like this astrophysicist dude. You know, I heard
it.
He's so smart.
Is that the one I was like, ooh, that was
it's
beyond
tough to hang in there with a guy like that.
Yes, that's what I was like, ooh, you're...
And there's scientific proof to that too. If a guy like scores, I don't know, 15 points higher than you on this or that test, that it's tough for you two to have a good conversation, with each other.
Yeah.
But he was talking about that was the problem with the Democratic Party the first time Trump ran, because in good old politics, you would say, well, he's a racist. And then there would be 2 outcomes. You would say this or he would say that, and you already have both of your responses ready, your rebuttals ready to go. You call Trump a racist, good God, you have no freaking clue where he's going to go. You have no idea what his what his rebuttal is going to be, so you're not prepared for it. He's already got 3 steps ahead of you now because he didn't say what he was supposed to say. And that was just a hurdle that they could not get over that first time around. So let's just put him in jail.
It'd just be easier.
Right.
Let's put him in jail.
Yeah.
No, I totally zoned out a little bit on that conversation because that was above my pay grade. That podcast. But
so it makes Joe Rogan cool.
We were on our way back from Colorado because we listened to it. It was like a 3-hour episode.
Yeah, I did kind of fall asleep.
And you were also falling asleep every
like
20 minutes, which is what you do when we drive down the road.
Cars make me tired.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the smooth sailing. But when you were talking about North Omaha and we were talking about sports, I was thinking about Terrence Crawford. Hello.
Yeah.
I mean,
that dude is awesome.
Yeah. Just one from Omaha. Like, come on. But
yeah. And it was a pretty good little jab at Texas because you had Dallas Cowboys even back in Errol Spence Jr.
Did you guys bet on that?
Of course we did.
Okay. And what was that?
If people would have listened to Gibran and I, they would have made a lot of money because we said pile it up on Bud Crawford. You still had like plus money type bets on him recording a knockout or a stoppage, a TKO.
But that's why I wondered what a TKO was. I saw some clips. It just must have been he kept knocking him on his feet and the dude couldn't finish.
Right. So the guy got knocked off of his feet 3 times.
But not out.
Right. Not knocked out. But he was getting pummeled so bad there in the 9th round that the officials stepped in. And he did the right thing because, I mean, he was wobbling. He was doing this number. His face was all rearranged. And Bud would have just kept pummeling him because he was making a point. He was making a point like this. Yeah, he was 8-1, and the only round that he gave up was the first round, and that's where those two were just kind of sparring with each other, feeling each other out. Mm-hmm. So even there, you could make a case that Bud won that round as well. So it was such a one-sided fight. It was just unbelievable.
Did you watch it live?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got the pay-per-view.
We considered it, and then we were like, it's too late.
Oh yeah, we were doing other stuff too.
It was a treat to watch. Yeah. It was Nebraska finally beating Texas in something. So that was fun too.
There you go.
So this whole cancel culture thing that we started with, I think we've made it pretty clear on how we feel about things getting canceled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's dumb, whatever.
Well,
but. And people can make their own decision. Do whatever you want. That's fine.
But now that we have a platform, should we cancel some things?
Right. That's what I was kind of thinking. Like,
Ooh.
what do you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, let's not say we're better than everybody, especially the other side. Let's just play ball.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you want to hear what I think we should cancel?
What
I
are
do,
you
yeah.
gonna cancel?
Weddings in the fall on Husker Saturdays, on game day Saturdays. Like, give me a break, Bridezilla, knock it off. This isn't all about you. You can have your day, but then don't get mad when everyone's looking at their phones during your precious ceremony. I mean, and I've seen this a number of times now where Bridezilla thinks, oh, no, I don't care if it's the Colorado game. We are having my wedding in November. Okay, but look out, because
Cancel.
Husker fans are crazy. And you could take that anywhere. Florida State fans, you could say Tennessee Titan fans, don't have your wedding on a Sunday where the Titans are playing a divisional game. Like, what are we talking about here?
I mean, it's probably people that don't really care about that team, but they're not taking into consideration anybody on their guest list. Is that right?
Yeah. They don't care about everybody else.
Right.
They only have their own concern.
Their blinders are up.
They're lacking that empathy that
Doesn't
I was
this
talking
kind of
about.
sound like everything else
Yes,
that we were talking
it
about
does.
beforehand?
But that's what
Like,
I'm saying.
yeah, like,
Okay.
You don't
get it.
you don't care about everything else that's going on. You only
Right.
care about what you have going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you
So-
should get one day. I get it.
So she's trying to cancel.
Oh, put
Football.
he in there too. She and he. He's
Oh,
okay
he's-
with it.
He's just agreeing, right?
Yeah, he has no choice.
There's
yeah.
a lot of guys that have a lot to say.
We're talking about real men
weddings.
here. We're talking about real men.
Oh, okay. So you two, I forgot.
We,
So
Okay.
we
he did-
support our woman.
Right.
Okay.
Like, what else are you gonna do?
You just nod and smile.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Okay, yeah.
oh boy, yeah, November 25th, great idea.
Yeah. So he's just like, okay, yeah, whatever. And she's like, no, cancel this football game. And then all the other people are like, no, cancel your wedding. Done.
Right. Well, okay, we'll go to it. He's my buddy. He's been my boy for years. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
They
gonna
better
be
have
streaming
free
it.
drinks, and the reception better have a damn TV.
Now, Ashley did go to a really good Husker wedding.
Oh,
But this is like the opposite of what we're talking about. She was thinking of everyone else, and she was a Husker fan as well. So they got the wedding and all the ceremonial stuff out of the way early in the day. It was a night game, and then at the reception area, it had a big drop-down screen.
And they played it.
And they had the game on. And the Huskers won, and it was a lot of fun, and everyone was drinking free booze. So that was great. That's the way to do it. I can handle that, but don't think that, the ones I'm thinking of is where the bride was actually running around from table to table saying, what are you looking at your phones for? What are you
your
looking
phone down,
Yeah, put
yeah.
your phone down. What are you doing? Like, you should be looking at me. I'm going to dance with my dad.
It does. That would suck that everyone's paying attention to their phone. But hey,
Yep.
you think you're so special. Well, you didn't think about anybody else.
So,
all right.
so that's my cancel.
I got one.
Oh,
I got
okay.
one.
What is it?
I'm gonna cancel people using ranch on pizza.
Whoa,
Ooh. Isn't
can't-
that you?
that's tough. No,
You can't.
Oh.
You can't. Like, I love
I thought we talked about ranch.
You just get like cringy when you see people do that.
I love ranch. I mean, we did an episode on it. It's
Yes.
awesome. We're gonna do another episode on it probably and have
Oh,
TJ
we are?
out
Oh, from Round the
from
Bend.
Round the Bend because we did kind of a little.
We said
we
Ron's
were
a
like,
ranch
oh, what's
was
the
the
best
best.
ranch? Yeah, and he has the best ranch. He says.
Okay.
So we're gonna get into that.
Ooh, we're going to have to dip pizza, steak, like everything in it.
We're canceling that, Morgan.
So
No.
I'm canceling.
He's going to want us to do it if
ranch-
it's so good.
Ranch goes good on a lot of things, but you can't dip your pizza in ranch, man.
Yeah,
I agree.
Are you saying like marinara sauce and ranch? They just don't belong together.
No, they're totally.
You're doing a
different.
disservice to both.
Yeah,
flavors.
in a good piece of pizza, like even a Casey's piece of pizza,
Okay.
you go get one of those. It's got a lot of really good flavor in it.
Oh yeah.
Ranch in itself is a canceller. It cancels everything, all of the other
Right.
flavors.
It dominates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't.
It makes salads good, for God's sakes.
100%.
True.
I mean, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't take that good piece of pizza and put that ranch in there and slop that up.
Man, you're taking me back to the days of dorm life at college. Like pizza was a mainstay at the calf, and then guys would just go to that ranch machine and just dump it all over, fill cups up, and just be
Ew.
dunking pizza in it. And I'm like, dude, okay, man. All right.
You might as well just be eating bread and ranch. I mean, because you're not going to taste anything else. The bread is creating the physical thing, and the ranch is handling the flavor, and that's it.
Hey, maybe you're onto something here. Ranch bread.
Yeah. I mean, people would
That's
probably love
probably a
that.
thing.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Morgan, do you got something you want to cancel?
Well, I was kind of thinking, I don't know. I think we need to cancel, and it's kind of a new thing, so we might be able to cancel it. Girls wearing leggings for volleyball instead of biker shorts. It's really unattractive, and they go past your knees. It's like a new thing.
Yeah. Right.
And then they put their knee pads over them. Okay, so no. So, like, no, we're not going to do that. So we're wearing, like, shorts because that's the uniform.
Yep.
And even before that, they actually had what was called bun huggers, and they were basically
Short
underwear.
shorts. Yeah.
They were like granny panty underwear.
Okay. Yep.
So this was like years ago. So they've gotten a little bit longer, right, to shorts. No, the long to the knees leggings actually doesn't flatter a body.
What were those things called that I used to hate so much? That was like it was up a little bit, like up on your calves, like short, like pants that were short a little bit.
Capris.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what they're capri leggings, and they're so
dudes,
not cute.
Dudes started wearing those.
Yeah, I was going
Like
to
a lot of
parlay.
dudes.
I was going to parlay that if you get volleyball, I'm going to transition it over to basketball too.
Okay.
Because I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys
Yeah.
are wearing those leggings, like you're saying, and then they're putting knee pads over top of that, and
They don't do anything. They say they're compression. Like, come on.
Yeah, they help my circulation, this and that. Well, maybe you should just have a tougher mental state,
Right, and
when you're
not just
playing.
wear one arm sleeve either. Like,
I
you
think
need
it's just-
It
compression.
makes your one arm perform better than your other.
Totally. So you might as well wear it on both. I mean,
Why is your right arm stronger than your left arm, Sonny?
I guess I think of in football. Do the guys get to choose to then wear pants all the way down?
A lot of them do.
No, they don't.
I think they do.
Or they don't wear shorts.
Wait, what do you mean
I'm just
pants?
saying in a
No, football. Like in a
I'm
football
saying
game, the pants are all the way
No,
down.
football uniform. Like,
Yeah.
no, some of them are like
Oh,
close to the
I see what
calves
you
or
mean.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That has not changed in years and years and years. Why are we deciding that we want to change it? Is it just because it's women and, oh my God, they
Well,
should
is
be
it-
able to cover their body?
Is it-
Then
is it-
don't play the sport. This is the uniform.
There you go. But
I'm
is
just
it
saying.
is it all teams, or are they just allowing certain girls to do it? Like
No, I think it's like a thing now. I don't know. You should ask
I think-
Ashley.
I
If
think there's
you don't want to
multiple-
wear this
Yeah.
and you think that's too short for you, you can wear capri
okay,
leggings.
so that's how you're seeing it.
That's how I'm seeing it. I
Okay.
don't like it. I just don't think it looks good. That's not what I'm used
Right.
to. And why are we changing it now?
And it's not the full. So it's not the full team. It's just
It's just
number of
random
girls.
individuals.
Right.
It happens
Okay.
down at Lincoln,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
UNL, and you
Yeah.
see like two girls, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Why? What's the
Right.
point?
Yeah, I think it's just to stand out. I think it's a narcissistic thing. I really do. And I think a lot of the basketball players
Trying
that
to be
do it,
different.
Yeah.
they have one sleeve here and one sleeve there. Even the guys that back in the Michael Jordan days where he'd wear that right knee brace and he folded it down with the red
Yes.
top. I mean, there's so many high school players that did that had no problem with either of their knees. So I think it's more of a statement thing too.
I
And
think
I
it
also
is.
agree, like, no, this is the uniform, wear your uniform. But yeah, now you're getting into a whole ball of wax
There's a lot
there.
But
there, yeah.
so I'm
But
saying
I like that. I
We're
like it.
canceling that.
So
I
I
like
I
it.
think on that same playing field, so to speak, I got another one that just came to mind.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Two things actually. Number one would be this like boisterous freaking attitude on the sports field.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. So you're saying I shouldn't be able to argue with the refs? I shouldn't be able to yell at them?
That, and you make a play that you were supposed to make. You've been trained to do this. And not only were you supposed to make it, you're expected to make it.
Right.
You didn't
That's
go,
your job on the field, is to make that
you
play.
didn't go
Yeah.
above and beyond to make this play. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. And so then you're going to jump around and start beating your chest and throwing your hands down and up and looking at people and what
Trying
like
to
making weird moves and stuff.
Doing a little dance.
Yeah.
I mean, you did what you were supposed to do.
Be happy, but like don't
if
gloat
I like
in
if
it.
I'm So I'm not any kind of professional or college athlete right now. I'm 40 years old. What do I do every day? A lot of things that I do every day is drive. Okay. So let's say I get in my truck and I
drive to a farm.
You made it to Scribner. What's up?
Yeah, I stop at the stop sign properly. Do I get out of the truck and start, oh, yeah, check it out. Look how I just stopped.
And you
Look
like
at my
start beating
truck.
your chest.
Trucker drives by, you give him the DX.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, is this what we're doing?
I guess so, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your job. Point.
Yeah. That's a fine line thing. Like I 100% agree with you, but there's such a, and this might be a reaction to the initial reaction, like the act like you've been there before, you know, and you're kind of taught like don't enjoy it. Well, no, you should enjoy it. You made the play, you know, you did good, but there's a right way to do it, and that's go enjoy it with your teammates. You know, be happy with yourself, and also, yeah, to a certain extent. You're just doing what you're supposed to be doing,
right?
You know, so keep that in mind too. Yeah, there's
like you're so proud of finishing something that that everyone else should be doing as well.
That was your assignment.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, early on when I worked for a corporate type of job, we had a kind of like an award show type thing, and. It was like a good old boy network. Everybody won the same awards every year. And it was really tough to break into that, right? And to get one of the awards. Like I thought I was going to be a shoo-in for Rookie of the Year my first year because we were doing really good and, you know, sales were up and all that good stuff. And it went to some gal out of Canada, and she was really good looking. Like,
well, that's
better
why
looking
she got
than
it.
me. No, I don't think that might have been part of it. You're being sexist. So I'm going to cancel you. Her dad owned the largest frickin' company in Canada.
Oh.
And that was her first year technically on the job. I'm like, well, that's not fair. You know?
She's cuter than you and she's got more money than you.
Yeah, and way bigger
money.
Yeah, way bigger organization. And you know, we had one location in Omaha, and but whatever. Yeah. So, but my thought was, why are we wasting time spending all this money going to a place like Chicago or San Francisco to do this award show to congratulate one another for doing what you're supposed to be doing? You're getting paid to sell these things. Yeah. And here we are just backslapping, having drinks on the company. And I loved it. I mean, I really liked it. Yeah. But I had that thought like, okay, we're all clapping for each other here, but what are we just doing our jobs?
Yeah. I want the traffic awards.
Oh, you did?
No, that's what I want.
That's what
I want that.
Oh,
he wants a traffic award.
I will take #1 best stop signer.
Oh, really? You come to a complete stop every time?
Every time,
and
man.
then jumps out of his car and does like
just boom,
the Chinese fire drill.
Yeah. You're just punching the air, you know.
I stopped better than all you fools.
Oh my God.
No one can even think about how good I stop.
Properly used your horn to alert a driver that,
I think though.
Look, I'm not trying to say that these boys and girls don't
They're trying to get the fans
good feats. I'm not trying to say that, but come on.
Yeah.
Do your damn job.
Yes.
Let the rest of the things fall in place.
I agree with you.
And think about the effect that it's having on everybody else coming up. If I jumped out of my truck every time I hit a stop sign because I did it so well, eventually there's going to be a bunch of people watching it, and they're going to start doing it too. Yes, and we're all going to look like a bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that way even with a lot of the NFL players, you know, and you see mocking videos on YouTube where like a defensive back breaks up a play. Well, no, you didn't. You got burned and the receiver dropped the ball and you're celebrating.
Oh, yes.
You look like an idiot.
All the time.
Great job.
Yeah. And I think that's where they don't have good people around them saying like, dude, you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
You look like you got middle schoolers clowning you right now on social media. So like chill out. But I do want you to, and let me know when you're going to jump out and do a fist bump after a good stop.
We'll get a good video.
Yeah, there we go. I like that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you said you had 2 things. Is there another?
I forgot. I got into all that. I don't know.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
All right, so we don't want to be above it or above anybody or talk down. So that's why we got to get into this cancel culture too. So I just thought we should, have some fun with it.
I thought you were going to do, I figured you were going to pull up a food one. But I was thinking you were going to say like steak and A1 or Heinz or something. No more.
That's bad.
That's canceled.
Yeah, that's bad.
Well, sometimes you've got a really bad steak. You need to do something, We don't all get
But
our
he chose
steaks.
pizza and
you know?
ranch, so
If you got a
I
bad
figured it would
steak,
be
you're
food.
probably in the wrong part of the country. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is good.
Yeah.
You brought up one earlier that was kind of funny to me.
Oh, and that's a Midwest thing.
But no one does that outside of the Midwest.
I think it's grown. I think it's spread. But you're talking about chili and cinnamon rolls?
cinnamon rolls.
A lot of people, when they visit here, are like, what is this? What is going on? The bowl of chili and you're serving it with a cinnamon roll. Like, that's how my school would do it. Like,
yeah, they did it in elementary school like that.
I'd
Growing
imagine.
up,
I don't
you
know.
didn't.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'd imagine that like probably a lot of like really well-educated chefs would probably say, okay, yeah, there's a science behind that. Like you've got this sweet and you've got this salty and spicy chili, and then you're going to add in a bite of sweet.
Wouldn't you say,
Like,
Yeah, but that seems weird.
It probably
The burger-
complements really well.
It does. It's the burger and the brown sugar on the cinnamon roll, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think those two things
Yeah.
Yeah.
go really well
And
together.
I'm not with it. Like I don't do it.
Well, then
but
I'm going to cancel you.
But I don't. but here we go. Here's a perfect example. I've seen it, and I'm not like.
And you're not on the bandwagon?
No, I'm not like. Oh, I can't wait to have that. I'm also like, no, screw you guys. I'm like, hey, you like that? Boom, do your thing. It
Go
doesn't
for it.
affect me.
Go for it.
I don't need to cancel you.
I can only imagine, like, you walk into the studio and you see me just dunking pizza and ranch and eating my my cinnamon roll.
In that case, you're out.
He's
you just
out.
shut the door.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
This was good.
So,
Funny.
All right. Well, what else? Anything?
yeah.
No, I think this is it.
Okay.
Hope
well,
we don't get canceled.
I don't think we are going to. We're
Nah.
probably pretty middle of the road for the most part.
No,
Except the ranch
we're
and
getting
pizza,
a
but
booking agent soon. So, I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the word.
Some of our guests are going to be like, no, those guys, they don't like ranch on pizza. I'm not going there.
Get me off that list.
All right, cool.
All right, boys.
Well, we can close it out.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll see
Peace.
you guys.
Later.